Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlotte Cottrell of Christian Mom Life, and today I'm going to talk to you about 10 tips to throw a party on a budget. Now, my first tip number one, is going to be to set a budget. You need to look at your finances for that month of the party, figure out how much extra or how much you're willing to spend, how much you think is reasonable based on maybe the number of guests that you have, and try to stick to that as closely as possible. Because obviously, if you're throwing a party for 6 people and let's say you have $100 for food and for decorations, you could probably go to the store, get some catered Chick-fil-A or something, and get whatever you needed without much fuss. But let's say, like me today, we threw our baby Esther, we had her 1-year-old birthday party today. Let's say that you're throwing a party for 10 people and your budget for the food and the decorations is $30. Well, then you have to get a little bit more creative. So first tip is just to establish a budget. My second tip is for location of the party. Have it at home, or maybe someone in your family has a bigger or nicer house than you. Ask them if you can throw it there, or go to a public park. My second tip, have it somewhere free. Maybe even a church. If you go to church, maybe ask them if you can throw it there. Tip number 3, buy decor wherever it's cheapest. Now, this means that you may have to go multiple places, but as far as I can tell, Dollar Tree seems to be a really good resource if you're trying to do something particularly themed, like say one color. I was able to go get a tablecloth that was pink for $1, the matching pink plates for $1, the matching pink napkins for $1, so on. And balloons there are also much cheaper than you would pay at like Kroger. I think charges $3.50, and at the Dollar Tree, it's $1. It may even be another $1 to fill it up. I've never actually gotten balloons there before. I'm not a big balloon person, other than the ones that you blow up with just like your mouth air. But yeah, I think, you know, $2 is still cheaper than $3.50, and when your budget's $30, you want to keep that extra $1.50. So yeah, tip number 3, shop around, find where decorations are the cheapest, but particularly Dollar Tree is going to be a really valuable resource, and they are really upping their game as far as their party decorations. There's some cool stuff. Tip number 4 is to use what you already have at home. So my daughter, her theme, there wasn't really a theme to it, but the colors were gold and pink and white, and we have a lot of white, we have some gold, and because I'm a girly girl, we have some pink blankets, some art for her nursery that has a lot of pink in it. So if you're trying to really decorate a space, go grab those paintings from upstairs and come and hang them downstairs wherever you're having the party just for the afternoon. Go grab, you know, use a thinner blanket or even a pink sheet as a tablecloth rather than having to buy a tablecloth. So just use what you already have. And that will help it not only, you know, feel more decorated, but it also can make it look a little bit higher class if you're throwing it for maybe someone who is, not higher class. It'll make it a little bit more mature for if you're throwing a party for, say, an adult. Maybe it's not super appropriate to have, like, you know, primary colors everywhere or whatever. Maybe at that point you go get your beautiful paintings from your bedroom and you bring them downstairs and throw in just enough party decor to let everyone know that it's a party, but it's gonna still feel lusciously decorated while using what you already have. And then cleanup's pretty simple. You just go and put it back on its original nail. So that is tip number 4. Tip number 5, as far as food, make your own. That is going to be so much cheaper than trying to cater anything. Now Kroger and like Publix or your regular grocery store, if you don't have those, will probably have some good options and some inexpensive options for, say, like getting wings. That's what we did for Esther's birthday party. But if you're on a really tight budget, just literally get you a loaf of bread, some lunch meat, some cheese. What else goes on sandwiches? Get some stuff to make those little sandwiches. Make like 20 of them, and then cut them up into the 4 little tiny triangles as finger sandwiches, and get some baby carrots for $1, get a head of broccoli for like $1, and then put some ranch in a bowl, and there you have finger sandwiches and a side of veggies, and maybe then buy a thing of chips. So if you can make any food, especially ahead of time too, that'll save you time. Let's say the night before you make your tray of sandwiches, wrap that sucker in saran wrap and pop it in the fridge. The next day all you have to do is bring it out. Super simple, super easy, and super budget friendly. So that was tip number 5. Tip number 6, make your own cake. Now, a lot of people are very intimidated by trying to make a nice cake. Anybody can make a cake in a casserole dish or a pan and slather it with icing, and that will be delicious. But let's say you want something Instagram worthy, you want something really, really pretty, something that looks like it's professionally made, you can make that. Go on YouTube, there are a plethora. Right after this video, go look it up, a plethora of all kinds of cakes. If you want to make a smash cake for your 1-year-old, look it up. There are so many tutorials for easy things. I made my cake for my daughter, her smash cake. It only took me a couple of hours, and it turned out just the way I wanted it, and I really loved it. I might insert a picture here. But the point is, you can do it. An amateur baker can do it. Just look up easy amateur 12-year-old cake. Easy amateur semi-naked cake. Whatever cake you're trying to recreate, you know, pick one that's fairly simple, but one that looks classy, or I don't know, whatever. I bet you there are even for kids that like, you know, certain, like, let's say Spider-Man. I guarantee you there is an amateur-friendly, like, shaped Spider-Man head that you can create, and no one's gonna know the difference, and it'll super impress everybody. Everyone's always super impressed when they're like, oh, you made this yourself? And you can make it delicious using box cake mix. You don't have to use any fancy weird, like, almond flour or fancy ingredients. So make your own cake, and that will save you a pretty penny, especially if you're wanting a more decorated, fancy cake. Number 7. Ask your guests to contribute to the party. And now this is assuming that you're fairly close to these people. Maybe they're family members or really good friends. And ask them if they would be willing to bring food. Let's say that you are making your own food, and they say, oh, I can bring my 7-layer dip and some tortilla chips. Awesome, that's a side that you don't have to worry about. Or let's say that, you know, my mom, she loves aqua. So if I were throwing a party that was aqua themed, I could text her and say, hey, would you mind if I came over and borrowed some of your art and some of your wall art and your paintings? Because I know they're gonna be in those colors, and I don't have those colors in my house. So maybe ask them if they would be willing to bring some of their decor to help decorate the party. Ask if you can pick it up, or if they would be willing to bring it an hour early. And most people, if they're close family and friends, are more than happy to contribute and feel like they really helped put this event together and help celebrate whoever it is you're celebrating. So that was tip number 7. Tip number 8 is limit guests. You don't have to invite everyone and their mother to your birthday party. Invite people that are special to the person being celebrated. Invite people that it would be impolite not to invite. Let's say, you know, you don't want to leave out your sister or whatever, whoever it is that's appropriate to invite. But beyond that, limit it as much as you want. If you just want to have a budget-friendly small get-together, then invite only your immediate family and one close friend. Or invite your extended family, but make sure that they RSVP so that you can, you know, make sure that you have enough food or whatever. Or like I said, with tip number 7, if you are gonna have a larger party, ask people to bring food so you don't have to provide as much food for a larger group. So as much as you can, you know, narrow down the guest list, that's less food and less space that you have to provide for people coming, but also less presents and less merriment. So it depends on what your priorities are and whether or not the birthday person feels good about having lots of people. Maybe they would prefer it to be huge, you know. Then you'll have to get even more creative. I don't know what to tell you. One of my tips is just number 8 is limit the guest list as much as you can. Tip number 9 is use reusable dishes. Now, this comes with major cons, but if you're on a very strict budget, especially if maybe you're having a larger group, using using the dishes that you already have in your house, though you will have to wash them later, will obviously save you money on disposables. And disposables are pretty cheap off the bat, but they can really add up, especially with a bigger group. You'd have plates, maybe you have bowls for ice cream, maybe you have smaller cake plates, napkins, and cups. It can be a lot after a while. It could be up to a third of your budget off the bat. Let's say you're working with the $30 budget that we worked with. That can be a third of your budget off the bat. Now the Dollar Tree, if you're having a smaller group, again, $1 for plates, $1 for napkins, $1 for silverware, that's $4. That's not too bad, and that's what we ended up doing. But if the group was any bigger, or if our budget had been even tighter, we probably would have just gone with the dishes that we already have in the house and just taken the hit of having to wash them later that evening. It totally stinks, but if it's saving you that money later, that's up to you. But that is a tip that I can offer you. Use like bowls that you already have. You don't have to buy bowls or to put chips in or whatever, or trays. Use plates that you already have. So yeah, use what you have, use what you can reuse. Don't spend money on disposables. If your budget is that tight, that's one of the ways that you can save money. I'm not saying that these are the best ways to throw a party. I'm just saying that these are budget-friendly ways to throw a party. They can be a lot of work for you. And tip number 10 is about after the party is over, and that is to save decorations and also save any wrapping stuff and like gift bags. A lot of people just throw gift bags and tissue paper away, but my family has always kept the gift bags and carefully folded up the tissue paper and saved it so that the next time you have to give a gift or go to a birthday party yourself, you don't have to buy that $5 bag. You just go in your collection of bags, pick one out that's appropriate, throw in your tissue paper, and you're good to go. We have some gift bags in our family that have gone around, like especially during Christmas. I can't tell you how many families they've hit, and they're still in the mix, and they've gone around like probably for maybe 10 years, some of them. We never throw away gift bags unless they're just absolutely destroyed. Wrapping paper is a little bit more difficult, but some of the newer wrapping papers that are either double-sided or they're sort of a plasticky kind, you can save those, and if you cut them down to a certain thing, obviously you'd have to find a present the right size or the appropriate size, but either way, you can save that if you want. I don't generally, unless it's super high quality or super pretty. But you can save bows, ribbons, all of those things, and again, next time you have to wrap some presents, or you can even use it as art as well. Let's say you have a smaller piece of art, yay big maybe, that is not in the right colors. Well, if you have the right wrapping paper, you can wrap it in wrapping paper and hang it on the wall. I've seen plenty of people do that. Or if you have frames that you want to put up in a photo frame, you can put a square of the really pretty right colored wrapping paper in there. So either way, to save you some money in the long run, and the decorations from the actual party, I'm not saying like take the streamers off the walls, but streamers, who uses the entire roll of streamers? I don't. So save those streamers. If you have some extra plates, save those plates. If you have a happy birthday banner and it doesn't have like someone's name, save the happy birthday banner for the next birthday that comes around. And you may not use it immediately, but year after year, if you built up enough of a collection, depending on whose party it was, you may have some bare bones to work with. And as long as you maybe keep it in a nice plastic bin where it can't get bent or wrinkled, and you carefully save it every time, that can probably save you a ton of money in the long run. So yeah, those were my 10 tips for throwing a budget-friendly party. Basically, it's a lot of using what you have, saving what you have to buy new, working a little bit harder as far as time put in so that you don't have to put in as much cash. So leave a comment down below if you did any of these things, or if you have any tips for budget-friendly parties, because Lord knows I'm always looking for those. All of our parties are on a budget. I don't know about you guys. So leave a comment down below. Go ahead and like this video if you liked it. Share it if you feel inclined, or if you think it'll be helpful to someone. And if you are interested in content that has to do with family life, being a stay-at-home mom, and faith, that is what I do over on my channel, Christian Mom Life. You can go ahead and subscribe, and if you subscribe, comment down below that you did, and I'll make sure to reply and thank you personally. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.